Hello friends and fellow gamers, MKxJUMP here, and today we're going to be checking out this week's impsadventure event for Idle Heroes. Happy December everybody, means it's only a month more till Christmas. That's going to be pretty good. Hope you guys are still saving your scrolls for what's going to hopefully be a good event. But does that mean as we build up we're going to get some really exciting events, or are things going to be a little quieter? Well, things will slow down for the time being, and hopefully this will be an example of a very standard impsadventure event, and it's probably going to be like this for a little bit until Christmas arrives. This is totally normal. Now, before we go ahead and check out this week's event, let me give a shout out to my latest Patreon backers, because I didn't do that last week. So a shout out goes to Morton and to Tomaz Skiba, Anthony Lees, Hamza, as well Skylo. Thanks for that one, buddy. And yeah, that's it. So good to see you guys. Thank you so much for your backing on Patreon. And if you want to know a bit more about Patreon, it's a way you can financially support me. But it's not just money for me. It's an opportunity for you to get permissions to join us for account reviews on Tuesday. So if you need help with your Idle Heroes account, Patreon is a budget-friendly way that you can give me a little bit of cash and also help you to get advice with your Idle Heroes account. Of course, most of my advice and content is all out there for free on YouTube. You do not have to do this to get all that advice. That's totally all just there for you guys. But if you want a little bit of personal one-to-one, Tuesdays on Twitch and through our Discord, which you can find in the description, will give you advice that can be given to you through access on Patreon. So yeah, go ahead, check that out, and hopefully it's something you're interested in. Anyway, let's go check out this week's event for Idle Heroes. Every day for logging in, as usual, because it's impsadventure, we're going to get ourselves 4 dice. These are a really important resource that you want to save up to use at the end of the week to try and complete impsadventure and get as much progress as you can. Also, every dice you have at the end of the event that you don't use is going to be 2 additional stars towards your impsadventure progress. So yeah, getting as many dice as you can is pretty important. As well, we're going to get ourselves 100 chocolate breads. Looks more like a crappy potato, but you know what? Sure, whatever art designer thought this was a good idea, I'll just... Corn jacket potato. Nice. Anyway, that's our sweet chocolate treat for this week. So you get 100 of these every single day for logging in. You'll also get more of them from Void Campaign or Campaign, whichever one you have, when you go ahead and claim. As you see, I've got 12, and you just naturally get them, so make sure you're logging in frequently, every day ideally, to go ahead and pick up all of those. So that's nice. What are they used for? Well, let's go take a look at the cool events. First of all, we've got our value packages. These are very, very standard, $100 scaling down, each giving gems and dice. The dice will, of course, be used in impsadventure to get rewards. More on that in a second. And of course, the gems you can just save or use as you need. Is this worth it? Well, it depends if you need a little bit more progress in impsadventure, but typically people don't really wail on impsadventure these days, so it's not really an event people go mad in, but I do know that some people do like to go crazy and pick up as much as they can, mainly because impsadventure is tied to these chocolate breads, which means you can go ahead and get some additional bonuses in the Idler's Sweet House. Now, the Idler's Sweet House is a place where you can go ahead and cash in all these chocolate breads for different rewards. Typically, most free-to-play players will manage to get themselves an imminent hero selection chest without doing anything, provided you're logging in frequently and do well at impsadventure. You might be able to push up to 3,000 with a few universal crystals which you can add in, and heck, if you've got enough, you might even get yourself a mysterious artifact chest, which could be pretty good. Now, note that this does not contain the new artifact, and this is not surprising at all. If it did, that would be insane. It's probably unlikely that the new artifact is going to be added to chests anytime soon. We probably won't see that happening until, I think, Valentine's Day, Easter time, right around there, late February, March, April. It's probably when it's going to come in. So it's still about 3-4 months before we get to enjoy the new artifact as free-to-play players. The rest of your chocolatey bread should go ahead and be used to probably pick up scrolls to help you for Christmas, and whatever's left over you can go with spirit and gold, depending on what you need. In addition, we have a fancier way of spending, not quite the value package, but even better. It's called the Luck Relay. This is a way that you can spend little bits of money for continuous rewards. $5 is going to go ahead and get you 500 gems and 3 dice, and then additionally you can get 3 more dice and 400 contract story gems, which is pretty solid value because 400 contract story gems is definitely worth a lot more than $5, so that's really clean. On top of that, you can go ahead and get yourself even more gems and dice for spending another $2 here, and a further 15 will get you 15,000 gems and 400 contract story gems. Now, 15 might not sound good on the surface, but on top of that, you also get yourself 1,500 gems, 10 cores of transcendence, and 9 additional dice. Moreover, for $10, you can go ahead and get another 1,500 gems and 10 dice this time, with an additional 1,500 and 400 contract story gems. And finally, if you go ahead and spend $20, you can double all of your rewards in impsadventure and get 500 contract story gems. Now, the contract story gems here are worth it alone, and the double rewards in impsadventure are really nice because it doubles everything, including the chocolate breads. So rather than getting 50 every single time you get an upgrade, you're going to get yourself 100, which is going to make it even easier for you to get the top rewards from the Idler's Sweet House. Now, how does impsadventure work? Well, you go ahead and use your dice and roll them, so I need to go ahead and claim some for that to be doable. And as you roll the dice, it will move your little imp guy across the board. Now, as you go ahead and land on a square, it will level up to the next level and get you more rewards next time you land on it. The important locations are the starry mushrooms, because you don't need to land on them, you only need to pass over them to get the rewards. But of course, if you land on them, they will level up. By passing over them, you get the stars depicted in that little white number in the right-hand corner, and those stars can be added to get you various rewards. For 80, you get scrolls. For 110, you get elite hero shards. For 140, you get a skin chest, where the latest skin is one for Fairy Queen Vessa. If you get to 170, you get a 6-star puppet chest, and the most valuable thing here is probably, for most players, you can get a 5-star hero selection chest, which is really useful if you're early on, but less useful if you're much deeper into the game. So it's up to you whether you want to go ahead and push impsadventure or not. If you're lucky, you might even get the material selection chest too, which contains tons of great resources, ideally Celestial Island resources that can help you out. So that's also worth picking up. If you go even further, you can get a light and dark chest, which is okay, but the big reward is a 9-star puppet, which can help you build food. So that might be worth grabbing as well. So basically, you want to do this as optimally as you can, and if you are lucky enough to grab a lucky dice, you can use that to cut the corner down at the bottom. If you want advice on how I do impsadventure, go check out any of my videos where I've completed previous impsadventures in the past. It's very similar every single week, so hopefully it's nothing new to you guys if you go and study it. Further down, the last thing to talk about is the shelter mission. Now, this is a way that you can go ahead and pick up a copy of a specific hero, as well as 5 dice and some armor. It costs 4 stars from that specific faction, as well as someone from a similar class. So for Sergeant, you're going to need 4-star assassins. For the Annabelle, you're going to need 4-star priests in the Shadow faction. For Freya, you're going to need 4-star rangers in the Forest faction. And finally, for Queen, even though she's a ranger, you're going to need assassins, because there aren't 4-star rangers in the Abyss faction. Once you throw that down with that 5-star hero, you will get the hero and, more importantly, the 5 dice, which will help you to get more progress from impsadventure. As well this week, we've got ourselves a Drake, which is pretty good. For 2,000 gems and 2 5-star darks, you can get a Drake copy. So if you're an early game player that's looking for 3 copies of Drake to maybe build him to 9-star, or maybe you want to get further with a mid-game account and build him all the way up to E5, that's a good idea too. So you could potentially get another Drake here to help you with that. Of course, if you already have an E5 Drake, you definitely don't need another one. So in that case, it would just be a hard skip. Asmodel, don't grab this. He's already really easy to grab and not worth 2,000 gems. So that's it for this week's event. Very standard, nothing else added in. It's a very normal impsadventure event. The look relay makes it a little interesting, but it seems very standard for impsadventure events these days. So all in all, nothing too surprising. Let's look at next week then and see what that's got in store for us. Well, it's Fantasy Factory and Prophet Orbs along with Heroic Miracle. The reward for Prophet Orbs is Holmes Young, so that's pretty good. Nice hero that can be transcended. Obviously, Star Alchemist Holmes Young is not an early transcendence hero, but the good thing is Holmes Young himself is a very good early hero, so it's funny. Holmes Young's good early on, Star Alchemist Holmes Young is very good in late games. So yeah, it's nice to build both of those at some point, so depending on what stage of the game you're in, you may find that appealing. In addition, Heroic Miracle is giving Aspen a very, very good Transcendence hero, and in fact a good early Dark as well if you have the time and resources to build him. So yeah, not too bad for both of those, so I'm quite happy with what next week's event is bringing. After that, of course, it'll just be 2 more events, and then it will be Christmas, so hopefully you're saving your scrolls. And that's it for this week. Nothing too exciting, nothing getting crazy about. Next week seems very standard as well, and this is normal for Idle Heroes on the build-up for Christmas. Gives you time to recuperate your resources, potentially not spend as much money as you normally would, and get ready for what's going to be a good series of events ahead. After Christmas, it's New Year. After that, Chinese New Year, then Valentine's Day, then Easter, and there's lots of other good events in between. So get ready, guys. We're on for a good group of events. Hopefully it's going to be a bit more interesting than last week's Black Friday. Either way, folks, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to check out Patreon, and I'll see you next time. Until then, though, happy idling.